Welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn about how to create a component manually and using Angular CLI. And we will see about view templates and how to style the view templates. Right? We know that Angular is a component-based JavaScript framework for creating client-side applications. A component is a piece of UI. We combine all those small pieces of UI to make an Angular project. Every Angular project has at least one component that is called as root component. Conventionally, we will name it as app component. We can give any name for that root component. For convention, we are giving the name as app. Under the app component, we have bunch of small components as its children. It looks like a tree structure. Let's see what is component by using some template. See here. Here we have a web page, that is front end template. Here we have sidebar, and then we have some small piece of information in that component, and we have header. In that header we have search button, search option, and some social media. Okay, likewise we are having some elements. Here we have sidebar. In the sidebar we have some elements like our dashboard and profile and email and some template options. Then in the center portion we have some elements. This elements is called as component. We can have an individual component for this element. And then here we have revenue breakdown. Here also we are having some information that can be a component. In that we can split this component into small piece of component. We can have this revenue breakdown and this close button as a component. And then we have some chart. This can be separated as a individual component. After that we can combine those two components to make this element. And also we have app performance. Then we have server overview. Here we have some options, and then we have the calendar. Okay, then here we are having some chart. Okay, this is considered as a component. And then here we have statistics. Here we have some other three components, some other three portions. This can be called as component. We will create small components, and then we club that components to make our front end. Okay, now let's see how to create a component in our project. Already we have app folder. This is our root component folder. Inside that only we have to create components as its child. Okay, every child should be created under this app component. Okay, every child should be created under the parent. Okay, here our root is app component. So under that we have to create a folder. I am going to create a folder. I am going to create a folder sample component, and then here I am going to create a file called as sample component.ts. This is our component class file. Here we have to create a class. By using class keyword, we have to use export to export this class here, and then we can import in parent class. Class name is sample com. Okay, this is our class. We don't want to define anything. If we want, we can define. Okay, then we have to decorate with this at component decorator. First we have to use the selector. Okay, the selector is the how we are going to render this component by using the CSS selector. Okay, here we are going to use sample comp. This is our selector name. Then we have to use template. We have two options, template and template URL. We will see about this. First, template. In the template we can define some HTML elements. Within the double quote we can define, I'm going to give a text. This is sample component. Okay, then save the file, and we have to add this sample component in the app module.ts. For that we have to go to app module.ts. Here we have to import sample component. So automatically it has added. Then we have to add this to declarations. Okay, save the changes, and then inside the app component we can render that also. I am going to copy that selector name. Then inside that app HTML I am going to use that. Okay, now go to the browser. See here, welcome to Angular student project. From the app component, here we have Angular, welcome to Angular student project. Then we have added this selector, that is sample component, which is created now. See here, this is sample component that will be rendered here. Okay, now we will see how to give styles for this template. So just inside the at component decorator, after the template we can specify the styles. We have two options, styles and style URL. In the style we can give styles here itself. In the style URL we can write a style in separate file, and we can specify those files in the style URL. I am going to use styles, so that in the styles we have to give the styles as a array. Okay, here I have another element, that is paragraph element. I am going to give a text as content portion. Save the changes. Now I am going to give, here we can specify within the single quote or double quote, or else we can use backtick. Within the single quote or double quote, or using the backtick we can specify. By using the backtick we can specify in the multiple lines. In case of single quote and double quote we have to specify in a single line. Okay, now I am going to use backtick. Here I am going to specify the h2 element. Here I am going to use the color as red. Okay, then after that put comma. Then I am going to specify the style for the paragraph also. I am going to use single line, so paragraph tag. Now the color of the paragraph tag is blue. Okay, save the changes, go to the browser. we have an error, that is syntax error, unclosed block in the paragraph tag. Let's go to the VS Code. Here I have not closed this bracket, but there is no information about the error because it is a string. During the compile time we don't get the errors. During the runtime only we will get this error. Okay, so that this type of specifying a template and specifying styles is little bit hard to find the errors during the compile time. Okay, and also if we specify more number of lines, HTML elements, and also we have more number of styles, this structure or this code should look gloomsy. Okay, so to avoid that confusion, and also we are specifying the template and style inside the TypeScript file, that also avoided. Okay, we have the TS file, we can specify template in the different file, and we can specify the styles in different file. We can specify those links here. Okay, let's see that in few minutes. Let's save the changes, go to the browser. Now we are getting the styles for this H2 element and the paragraph. Okay, in the paragraph we are getting the blue color, for the H2 we are getting red color. Okay, now how to create a view template as a different file. Okay, now I am going to cut it here. Okay, now I am going to create a file, HTML file inside the sample component. Okay, for that I am going to give a name, sample component.html. Okay, here I am going to paste the H2 element and the paragraph element. Then I am going to create a file called sample component.css. Here I am going to specify the styles which I have created here. Okay, in this style I am going to specify that. Here I am going to remove this comma and quotation. Here also we don't want this. Okay, here I am going to specify another style, that is font size as 20 pixel, and then I am going to specify the text align as center. Okay, here also I am going to give the text align as center. Okay, save the changes. Now we have to specify that HTML element and CSS element in this template and styles. For specifying the URL, we have to specify the template URL property. Here we have to use that path, that is in the root folder we have sample component.html. Right, now go to the browser. We are getting this is sample component and content portion. Right, now we will add the styles. In the styles we have to specify the style URL. Okay, style URLs we have to specify. We can specify multiple lines. As of now we have only one file. We have to specify that file. Now I am going to copy this. Instead of HTML I am going to change CSS. Save the changes. Now go to the browser. See here the text is aligned center, and also the colors of H2 element and the paragraph also applied. Okay, this is how we can create the view template, that is a component, and we can apply styles for that components. Okay, if you are specifying the simple HTML content, we can use template, or if you are having more number of HTML elements or HTML lines, we can specify, we can create the HTML file and then we can specify inside the property a template URL. Okay, for styling we can create a separate style file and then we can specify those styles in the style URLs. Okay, now how to apply the styles globally. Okay, first we will see, I am going to cut these styles. Okay, I am going to paste it in the app component.cs, that is the parent of that component. I am going to save the file. Okay, now I have given the styles in the parent of this sample component. Okay, let's see whether we are getting those styles or not. See here, we are not getting the styles. We are getting the styles for this welcome to Angular student project, but we are not getting for this sample component content. Okay, then how to apply globally? For that we have an option. I am going to cut it here, save the file, and in the assets folder we have the styles.css. We can specify the styles globally inside the styles.css. Now I am going to paste those styles in the styles.css that is accessible to all the components. Okay, save the file and now go and check. Now the style is applied for the sample component also and also the app component also. So likewise we can apply the styles globally by using the styles.css. Okay, in upcoming lectures we can see how to add the bootstrap styles. Okay, now we are going to create a component by using the Angular CLI. Okay, that is automatically it will create those components, right? For that I am going to our project folder. I am going to give cmd, then in the command prompt I am going to give ng generate component space header. Ng generate component header. Ng generate is used to generate a element. So which element we are going to create? We are going to create a component then with the name of header. Okay, ng generate component. Instead of this we can specify like this also, ng g, then for component we can specify short form as c, then we can specify the header. Okay, now just hit enter. We will see what are the files are created. See here, now inside the app folder the header folder is created. Inside that header.component.html file is created and the header.component.spec.ts file is created. Then ts file, TypeScript file is created. Then component.cs file also created. Okay, then see here the app.module.ts file also updated. Okay, let's see what happened inside our project. Now go to the app component. Inside that the folder is created. Inside the folder we have header.component.css and HTML and the spec.ts and the TypeScript file also created. So inside the HTML there is a paragraph which header works. Then inside the styles we don't have any styles. We can specify the styles for this header. Then inside the component.ts the header component class is created and it is decorated with those selector and template URL and styles properties. Okay, now we can use this selector inside this app.html component. I am going to give the selector. Okay, save the changes. Now go to the browser. We are getting header works. Yes, it is in the header.html we have paragraph tag. So the paragraph tag we have the styles, right? Globally we have applied styles. That style is also applied for this header component also. This is how the component is created manually and also by using the automatic generate method by using Angular client. Okay, now let's see how to use those selector in different manners. See here in the header component.ts we have selector. Here we are specifying this selector as a HTML selector, so that we are using this name app header as an HTML selector inside the app component. Okay, we have some other techniques also. In the app header we have used as a HTML selector. Let's see this in the browser. Go to the inspect. See here we have the body portion, and then here we have the app root. That app root is like a HTML element. Okay, now let's see what are the different options to add those selectors. Go to our VS Code. We can specify that selector by using the HTML selector, and also we can use it as a HTML attribute. Okay, this is how we will specify the app header selector. We have to specify within the square brackets. Okay, now go to the browser. We are getting some error because if app header is an Angular component, then verify that it is a part of this module. Okay, so that it's showing error. How to specify properly? Go to app component. In the app component we have specified like that, right? Instead of this we have to specify a div element. In that we have to specify the app header as an HTML attribute. Okay, then we have to close that div. I am going to remove this. Now save the changes. Go to the browser. We are getting this properly, getting our front end properly. Now let's see in the we have the app header as an HTML attribute inside that div. Okay, we have specified like that. See here in the div we have specified app header. Okay, then we have another type of selector methods. For that I am going to use dot app header. This is called as class selector. Okay, so how to use that? Inside the app component.html, here I am going to specify as a class equal to, inside that I am going to use app header. Okay, let's save the changes. Go to the browser. See here we are getting the proper output. Now let's refresh this. Okay, see here now our div element, that is a header works. That is inside the div we have a class equal to app header. Likewise also we can specify. Okay, in another way we can specify like the ID. For that in the app component.ts we can specify, instead of dot we can specify form symbol, that is hash symbol. Save the changes. Go to the app component.html. Instead of class we can specify the ID. Save the changes. Go to the browser. Our app is working. Now refresh it. Go to the div element. See here, the ID equal to app header. So likewise also we can specify those view template. By using these different types of selectors, we can view or we can display our component. Okay. So basically we will use the HTML selector like this. Previously we have used HTML selector. Whenever we are using the directives, that time we will use this attribute selectors like that. Okay. We have created the component. We are using this template as a component, so that we are using this header as a HTML selector. Okay. That's about this lecture. We have seen what is component, then how to create a component manually, and how to create a component using Angular CLI, and then we have seen how to style the component using styles and style URLs. Then we have seen different types of selectors. In the next lecture, we will see about our project, how to create a header and the Angular routing. Thank you everyone. Happy coding.